الحمد لله الذي لا يبلغ مدحته القائلون ولا يحصي نعماءه العادون ولا يؤدي حقه المجتهدون والحمد لله الذي من علينا بمحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وبأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم ومبغضيهم وغاصبي حقوقهم من ليلنا هذا إلى يوم الدين. صلوات پر محمد محمد. It is very important to understand some of the factors, historical and otherwise, which finally led us to believe that the tragedy of Karbala was inevitable, that the situation demanded the sacrifice which Imam Hussain alayhi salam gave at the altar of Islam. But it is not only a matter of sentiments. There are certain evaluation of historical developments which are necessary before we understand what Karbala actually represented at the time that the sacrifice occurred and what it means today. Principally, we believe that as long as there is one perfect person or a person of some excellence, there cannot be a selection of someone who is inferior in quality to rule. The question is of always accepting the best. And we say that there has been no doubt over the last 14 centuries that for those qualities which are normally needed for a leader who would lead after the Prophet, there has been an indisputable consensus that Ali ibn Abi Talib was the best of all. As such, even while the Prophet lived, there hasn't been any dispute about it. And even when after the Prophet passed away, there never was a dispute about it. And then we say that when this is accepted, then taking, or rather swearing the oath of allegiance over those who were definitely inferior to Ali ibn Abi Talib al-Islam does not arise. But much more important than this is the idea that we will never accept that concept of politics which has been accepted by the world. We don't consider one who is very tactful, deceitful and diplomatic to be the best politician. We do not accept one who knows how to deceive people and how to cheat as the best politician. That man is a tactician but not a politician, because the description of politics in Islam is a maintenance of relation between the rulers and the people by ensuring the protection of the rights of the people according to Sharia of Allah. There is no personal axe to grind. Therefore, whoever assumes authority and is there only to cheat the people and to serve his own ends, however clever he might be and what a diplomatic he might be acknowledged as, is not a politician who will run the affairs of the Muslims. In 17th century, for example, in France, there was born a political thinker who has enunciated a policy saying that the end justifies the means. The end justifies the means. That means if you have got a goal or an aim or a purpose to achieve, by any way that can suit you, you may proceed to achieve the goal. As long as the goal can be achieved and is good, any road that you may take, taking you final to destination, is alright, justifiable. In Islam it is not so. The end may be good, but the means through which you reach the end must also be good. That particular thinker in politics is known as Machiavelli, and his whole system is known as Machiavellian theory. Not only that, but as it is customary, in order to perpetuate one's power, try to create as many factions as possible within a society, so that they fight while you rule. And that is the question which is applicable to some governments when they declare that the policy is divide and rule. Islam does not accept this. It is for this reason that Muawiyah, the son of Abu Sufyan, who has been acknowledged as one of the cleverest politicians Islam has ever produced, we question his political status by saying that he cheated the people, he was a deceitful person, that he was a diplomat, most un-Islamic who ever existed, and therefore he was not a politician in the Islamic sense of the term. This is what Imam Ali alayhi salam said, لولا التقى لكنت أدهى العرب. If there was no question of piety and fear of God, I would have been the most deceitful Arab if I wanted to. I could have also achieved my end. People could not assimilate and digest this. While they knew that Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam was the true representative of Islamic politics, they could not assimilate and digest this, because everyone wanted to get the maximum personal benefit out of it. Can someone arrange for this noise to cease? I am the reader here, and my mind knows that the slightest digression kills me, but no one seems to realize. Well, Imam Ali alayhi salam represented the truth, but there were people there who knew this and by conduct did this. For example, there was one man who, whenever the time of Namaz-e-Jama'at came in Jang, in the battle of Jamal, in the battle of Siffin, when the time of Salat al-Jama'ah came, he always joined the Jama'at of Ali ibn Abi Talib. When the time of food came, he went to the camp of Muawiyah and joined the people of Muawiyah. And someone asked him, he said, yes, namaz is best behind Ali because he takes me to Allah, but food is delicious with Muawiyah. because Ali does not eat those sumptuous meals and dishes. When I sit with Ali, it is always dry pieces of loaves and dry dates. Because whenever I ask him, Ya Ali, where is the chicken? And where are those sumptuous meals? And Ali says, this is from my wealth. I have no right to feed you from the wealth of the people. This sort of politics, which really protects the right of men and women at the same time ruling, sometimes at the expense of one's own personal advantages, that was the type of rule that the Shia Ithna Ashari accepted, and the majority did not accept. And in this clash, which was supposed to be divine rule, not personal rule, the conflicts began soon after the Prophet. First with Saqifa, when Ali ibn Abi Talib was deprived, and then with that sword which killed Ali ibn Abi Talib in 40 Hijrah on the 19th of Ramadan, and then with that poison which was given to Imam Hassan alayhi salam. What happened to Imam Hassan is evident from history. The people were not prepared even to side with him. The people were not prepared even to be with him. And afterwards, when Imam signed the truce, the question arises as to why did he sign. And after that, it was Imam Hussein alayhi salam's turn, and the whole tragedy of Karbala is based on this particular concept, that the rule of Islam shall always be in the hand of one who is just, not deceitful, who is a man of probity, who fears God, who protects the right of the people. I'm not talking of the Muslims only. There came a time when one particular Jewish lady was robbed. Refer to Nahjul Balagha, you will see. A Jewish Yahudi lady was robbed by Muslim army. Remember one thing, when a non-Muslim is under the protection of an Islamic state, his rights are equal to those of Muslims if he is under the protection of Islamic state. This Jewish lady was under the protection of Islamic state, and that she was robbed of her ornament. And Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam in Nahjul Balagha says that how can one non-Muslim lady be robbed when she has already been afforded the protection of Islam? This kills me and pains me. O Muslim, why are you not rising to protect the lady who has been robbed? She is a Jewish. If you refer to Nahjul Balagha, you'll find this particular khutbah in which Imam Ali is defending the right of that lady. Well, here comes the particular stage when we understand Karbala. It was not that what people tell us, or young men and women who are reading those English books which tell us that it was the fight between Banu Umayyah and Banu Hashim. Unfortunately, even the ulama have written books in which they try to portray the difference between Umayyah and Hashim right from the beginning, giving the impression that it was a family dispute. It is not a correct interpretation. Be careful. Even the ulama have written this. It was not a question of family rife or dispute. It is the question of who was most capable and best qualified to look after the affairs of Islam. And Imam Hussein alayhi salam, when he challenged Yazid not because Yazid was from Banu Umayyah and he himself was from Banu Hashim, but he challenged him because of his conduct and knowing him incapable of controlling the affairs of Islam. And Muawiyah knew this. At his deathbed, he told Yazid, Yazid, there are 4 people who will dispute. 3 of them will dispute for personal benefits. 3 of them. They will dispute for personal gain. If you give them something to chew and something to eat, they will keep quiet. They are like dogs. When the dog starts barking, what you do is throw a bone. And the moment there is a bone in his mouth, the barking ceases. So there are 3 who will simply bark. You just give them some slices here and there, chunks of power here and there, and they will keep quiet. But there is one who will never swear the oath of allegiance, who will never accept you, and no bribery, no palm greasing, no flattery will ever win him over. And that is the son of Fatima, his name is Hussein. He told him. So, try to cajole him. Try to win him over by kind words. But if he does not acquiesce, then you have got no alternative but to kill him and behead him. This is what Muawiyah said. And he called Imam Hussein also and said, Hussein, I can see you like a sheep whose blood is bubbling for being slaughtered. But Imam Hussein alayhi salam kept quiet and did not tell him anything at that particular moment, because the time was to come. And when the time came, Imam Hussein alayhi salam stood for the same reason, that this is the affair of Islam. Not only that, Yazid and his father had already started changing the laws of Islam, and there was no other way but to stand up, raise a voice of protest, and offer blood, which he did. Right then what happened? On the 2nd of Muharram, he came to Karbala after having stayed for several days in Mecca. But he did not leave for Karbala. He left for Kufa. As he was reaching Kufa, Hur diverted him to Karbala. He did not go to Karbala. And remember that the position of Hussein ibn Ali was so very well known that when Hur tried to prevent Imam Hussein, and Imam Hussein saw that the people were thirsty and so were the horses, and he commanded his people to give them water, including Abu Fadl Abbas and himself, sitting and kneeling before everyone, offering water to drink because they were thirsty. The army of the enemy who has come to prevent Hussein from entry into Kufa. Hussein is offering water, telling Hur that you are thirsty and so are your people and so are your animals. And the time of namaz came. Imam said, Hur, we should like to offer namaz Dhuhr and Asr. If you don't want to join us, you can have your namaz there. We will have our namaz here. You can refer to all the books of Karbala, Maqatil, and you will see that the answer Hur gave, that there can be no namaz jama'at if there is at least one person from Ahlul Bayt already there. The enemy says this. There can be no other namaz jama'at if there is one representative of Ahlul Bayt already there. I shall pray behind you. And he prayed behind Imam. But he accompanied Imam. And they came to the plains of Karbala. Today when you go to Ziyarah, there where there is the haram of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and all the extensions around it, that is the property which was purchased by Imam Hussein alayhi salam. He bought it. And there, of course, the whole thing which has been built is later on extensions. Imam Hussein alayhi salam stayed there for 8 days. On 7th, which is tonight, On the day of 7th, the water was totally stopped from reaching the tents of Imam Hussein by the order of Yazid. But there is some water left over. By 8th, there was no water left. 9th, until Ashura day, there was no water in the tents of Imam Hussein. But the closure started on 7th. And on that day, Imam Hussein had 72 followers together with him, minimum, 112 maximum. The people ask questions, how can one go after each other and be killed, because that takes time. There were no guns there to kill people at a time. People were fighting hand to hand with swords in hand. The answer is that about 50 of them were killed together in that battle which is known as Luba. 50 of them were killed together. In the first battle, when all of them got killed, 50 of them were seen dead from the army of Imam Hussein. And many of them got killed Namaz al-Dhuhr when they were protecting Imam. So at the end of the day, from Dhuhr till Asr, when Imam Hussein was finally martyred, there were hardly 13 to 14 left over who went one after the other to be killed. Otherwise, all of them had mostly been killed or wounded. We must try to understand and read that in this particular moment, early in the morning of Ashura, Hussein tells his own son Ali Akbar, "O Ali Akbar, stand up to give adhan today." Every day there was a muaddin. In history there is a name of a muaddin specially assigned by Hussein ibn Ali for adhan on the plains of Karbala. On the day of Ashura, Imam said that muaddin shall not give adhan. Today my son Ali Akbar shall give adhan. And he said that I want the world to remember that the message has come from Ahlul Bayt. And the basis of Karbala is on Amr bil Ma'ruf and nothing else. Let us understand. People are asking funny questions. Mullah Sahab, why shall we cry? Mullah Sahab, is this alam necessary? Mullah Sahab, is this taboot necessary? Is it necessary to bring about janazah and shabi? We are asking ancillary questions, we are forgetting the root of it. Those who ask such questions reveal that they haven't gone up to the root of it. The basis of Karbala is Amr bil Ma'ruf wa Nahy anil Munkar. أشهد أنك قد أقمت الصلاة وآتيت الزكاة وأمرت بالمعروف ونهيت عن المنكر. Amr bil Ma'ruf is to enjoin people to do good. وَالنَّهْيَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ is to forbid people from evil. That is the basis. Hussein ibn Ali gave his life for Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahy anil Munkar, to the extent that even if it means martyrdom, it begins at home. When I first tell my wife and my son and my daughters, then my next of kin, and then to my society, community, nation, and everyone who rises for Amr bil Ma'ruf must face opposition, because shaitan is working against him. And then there comes a stage when one must give life, and that is shahada. So Hussein ibn Ali reached the pinnacle and climax of Amr bil Ma'ruf, where he had to offer his head, and not only his own head, but the head of all who were with him. And he did it. And with every drop of blood that was spilt, the message was La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. That is the meaning. The head of Hussein reciting Quran in the bazaar of Kufa. People have seen and heard the beheaded head of Hussein reciting Quran from where? From on top of the spearhead. And the ayah which Hussein read was, Am hasibtum anna ashab al-kahfi wal-raqim kanu min ayatina ajaba. Do you think that the story of companions of the caves, Ashab Kahf wa Raqim, they are the most wonderful signs of God. And the wonderful sign of God is not Ashab Kahf. The wonderful sign is the head of Husayn ibn Ali. Look at this. Now when we understand that, Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahy al Munkar, then we will understand why is this majlis and why do we sit to cry. We cry so that the message may be perpetuated, that we must first move our own soul. No soul can be moved unless it weeps. The eyes which have gone dry because of the sins, the eyes which have gone dry because of the rigidity of material world, must weep. Only one who has got some spiritual tendency shall weep. And when you weep, you can weep, then your soul moves and stirs. Unless your soul has stirred, you cannot understand Husayn ibn Ali. And once you have understood Husayn ibn Ali, then we will never ask whether the alam was needed or not, because this is but a visual aid. Janaza or Shabih comes is just a visual aid. Everything is there to give you an idea as to it could have been this way, but it was not. I wish Husayn ibn Ali, our Imam, had janaza like that. He had no janaza. We bring janaza here just to say, oh Mawla, if we had been there in Karbala, we would have raised your janaza on our shoulders. And we would have told the people, oh people, here is Husayn ibn Ali martyred. But we were not there. So we have brought your janaza here for mu'mineen to view, with one black amama put on it. The amama which used to be worn by the Prophet himself, which was stolen and robbed by the enemies. And that Shabih of the sword which is known as Dhul Fiqar, and the blood dots signified to show that this was how it was a bloody battle where blood was spilt. Blood, innocent blood of Fatima Zahra. So don't ask whether Shabih is necessary or not. What you have got to ask is whether the message of Husayn ibn Ali has been understood or not. It is on Amr bil Ma'ruf. So it is wajib upon us, I conclude, that when Muharram is on or is over, we become the emissaries of Husayn ibn Ali by carrying out the duties of Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahy anil Munkar among ourselves. When we see our family going astray, Husayn's demand is to do Amr bil Ma'ruf. When we see society is now actually cracking, it is our duty to see that Amr bil Ma'ruf is done and join the people to do the good and forbid the evil. And don't worry how many listen. Don't worry about that. And don't worry about the result. The Prophet was told by Allah that your work is to see that it is conveyed. It is not your work to see as to whether it is being followed or not. إِنَّكَ لَا تَهْدِي مَنْ أَحْبَبْتَ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ يَهْدِي مَنْ يَشَاءُ. You shall not guide the one you love. It is Allah who finally guides. So for us, for you, for all of us men and women, for father and mother, for parents, for brothers and sisters, Amr bil Ma'ruf is the day, the order of the day. This is what Imam said. Our sixth Imam said, Kullu ardin Karbala wa kullu yawmin Ashura. Every land is Karbala and every day is Ashura. If I see the devil has entered my house, Shaitan has entered my house, I shall first stand against the devil in my house. If I don't, then coming to majlis or azab will have no application in my life. Because we cannot see the applicability, we are lost. But the moment we follow Amr bil Ma'ruf, we shall see that Hussein ibn Ali lives not only in 10 days of Muharram, lives every hour, lives every minute. Amr bil Ma'ruf. That is the meaning of it. Let me first work in my house, then in my society. Whether people will listen or not, whether people will like or not, is not the question. The question is whether Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likes it or not, and the question is whether Hussein's message is being sent to me. That is the meaning. So we must prepare ourselves for this particular concept of Karbala. That everyone, if you see somebody doing wudu incorrectly, please tell him. Please tell him. If you see somebody praying incorrectly, please tell him. If you see someone failing in his duty, please tell him. If you feel that you cannot because of the strained relations, or you cannot because you fear that it might react, their Sharia has given you exemptions. But you cannot escape the responsibility where you can definitely tell and you still connive and say, so don't worry if somebody tells you mind your own business. He will tell you once, but he will always remember. But tell, for those who do not, those who come to ask for khums and zakah, explain. Those who come with the questions, answer. If you cannot answer, refer them. But see that the Amr bil Ma'ruf is perpetuated. And don't worry about whether people sleep or people are awake. That is not for us. That is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The meaning in summary is that for us the question of ruling a society is a divine question. People need a ruler. A ruler must be appointed by Allah. And in that doing, because Islam must be saved, blood was spilled. And the whole concept pivots around Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahy anil Munkar. That is the meaning of Karbala as a parting message forever. I shall not repeat this. The questions have been so many that I felt concerned. I can justify the use of alam. I can give you separate reasons for using alam and marthiyah and things. But the question of dealing with subsidiary subjects and wasting the time, I thought it better to tell you what is the principle involved. If I have accepted Muhammad as my prophet, then I shall not ask why to pray 4 times, 5 times, 4 rakat Zuhr, 4 rakat Asr, 3 Maghrib and 4. Once I have accepted Muhammadun Rasulullah, the matter is over. Once I have accepted La ilaha illallah, the matter is over. Once I accept Karbala is on Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahy anil Munkar. Whatever is done to serve the purpose and to make the people alive to it is also in accordance with the teachings of Imam Hussein, and that is acceptable. It must be understood and appreciated. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.